Okay, let's first see if you even like this. So, oh, it's a win. Any day now. Didn't give you that much cheese, girl. Okay, now. I want you to try to think on your own for a second. Uh-uh. 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 No. No. Noodle, honey. Look. It's gonna be messy. That's okay. Mommy got a vacuum. Look, it's on the floor. Clean up. So this is Noodle. She's an 8-week-old golden doodle. I got her on Sunday. She's technically illegal. I still have to pay the pet rent on her. I've just been too busy and I've had too many other surprise bills. So we're working, this is her first time clicker training, and we are working on charging the clicker because she has to learn what the clicker means. And I figure sit is the easiest thing to start with. So the first thing I'm gonna do is bait her into sitting until she learns that this means she did something correct and she gets a treat. So she has to learn that first. She has to learn what the clicker is first before she's gonna get good at anything. So I'm gonna try to get her to not push on me. And I want her to try to think it through and find the answer, which is why I kind of push her off me and have her wait. If she wants to pick up the bits of cheese she's missing, I let her, you know, whatever, I don't care. This is not a rushed thing. This live may be very boring to some of y'all if you've already trained dogs or you know what you're doing, but what we're using is positive reinforcement. I am adding something to increase a behavior. I'm adding a treat to increase a behavior. I'm using an inopportune treat. Shredded cheese is not ideal. I will say it's nice because she is such a young puppy. She's only 8 weeks old. And it is something she doesn't normally have. I don't give her a lot of human food. I was gonna do chicken, but we actually apparently used all the chicken cooking the other night. Her daddy gave her a piece of chicken and she loved it, so that's why I was like, oh, I'll use chicken because she'll love that. No. So she does know what means. It means stop that behavior. She's learning it anyway. And all I'm doing is trying to start the behavior of sitting. So what I'm doing is, I think it's called baiting or luring. I am baiting or luring her into the behavior I want. I'm adding the treat and pushing it back to get her to sit. And the nice thing is she has such a drive to come and get the cheese that I can just reset her pretty easy. Some dogs, they get in the sit and then they won't do it again. So she has to figure out the only way she's going to get cheese is if her bum touches the floor or if she picks up what she's left. You're okay. So she's cleaning up after herself. She's like, all right, well, that's too much work. So if she wants more cheese, she's gonna have to go into a sit. So the other option is I could ignore her and continue to push her off and see if she offers the behavior and has started to pick it up. I don't think she's gotten that yet because she's only 8 weeks old and her attention span is that big. She can't pay attention all that long. She gets very distracted, and that's okay. Also, make sure your treats are small because the whole point is that the treat needs to be quick for them to eat so that they're ready to come back and perform the task again. So I'm going to wait and just see if she happens to offer it. So she says, well, what if I climb on you? Nope, that's not going to get you anything. I want you to think a little. Use your little melon. You're a smart dog. She already, I think, is starting to learn what her name is just from us saying it so much. Good. And you can see she's kind of thinking. If she gets too lost or gets bored, I'll bait her into it again. If I think she's gonna pee, I'm gonna swoop her up. And I picked sit also because she does tend to offer that behavior on her own a lot. So here she's getting distracted and lost. So I don't want her to learn that jumping. Good. Good. Let me. There. My low power mode's on. Good girl. So we grab just a little pinch of cheese and I'm going to push her off, saying, nope, can't steal the treat. So if she offers it on her own, I'll give her a jackpot, which means I'm going to give her a couple handfuls of it, of the cheese, because she'll offer it on her own. But only if she offers it on her own, and that's called a jackpot. And it's basically a bigger reward for improvement. I just want to give her plenty of opportunities to try it on her own before I have to push her into it. So I pushed a little, I clicked a little early. That's my fault. Good girl. Because I want her bum to be actually on the floor. It's close enough that she did go into it, but... Oh, she ate a piece of hay. Whoopsie. There was a piece of hay. That was better. She almost did it on her own. Good girl. Good girl. So I give her a jackpot because that one was mostly unhelped. That might have been too big of a jackpot. I sometimes forget how tiny she is. She's only 8 weeks old. So her belly is pretty tiny. But she also hasn't eaten a ton of food today, which is stressing me out. So I was like, oh, perfect. I got off work early because of the bad weather. I'll go home, I'll do dishes, and that time I wasn't even paying attention. I was like, oh, wow, she's sitting. The faster you reward the behavior, the better. So if she doesn't get up on her own, what I'll do is I'll bait her into getting up. There. By giving her a treat so she has to go get it. So I clicked because she stayed in the sit, and then I gave the treat somewhere so she has to get up. So now we're going to see a shift in her brain where she's going to start thinking, what can I do to get her to click and give me a piece of cheese? Or in this case, several. You have cheese hanging from your mouth, you little goblin. Good. So I wasn't trying to push her into it. She just kind of went into it. That's okay. But I want her to be independent. But it's also the first time. I've never done any clicker training with her yet. I was like, okay, I'm going to start it today. There's cheese everywhere. In case you can't see, there's cheese everywhere. And I'm going to wait, see if she offers the behavior without help. First, she's going to clean up some of her cheese. There's a lot of cheese. Like a lot. My hair looks terrible. So this is a marker. The clicker is a marker, and I basically use it at the exact moment she does something right. Good girl. Good girl! Yes! Good girl! So that sound I make means no, that's not the answer, or no, stop that. So when she eats poop, I make that sound. Because she works in a barn. She comes to the barn with me. And when I'm picking stalls, I try to have her down. Good girl! Look at that. So we can see from this, and one of the things I wanted to point out, as early as 8 weeks, she's already thinking, what can I do to get what I want? So I'm going to try to get her to eat some of the cheese that's on the ground for a second. So we can see she's only 8 weeks old. She's tiny. She's a baby puppy. And already she has enough attention span and intellectual thought process to figure out what a clicker means to learn a behavior. So I have my pinch of cheese. I'm ready for her. I'm going to wait and see if she offers the behavior. You'll notice I'm not using a word yet because the word doesn't mean anything. The only instance where I use a word before it means anything is for GOPOTTY. I start saying that as soon as they're going to the bathroom. as early as 8 weeks old, because I want them to learn to do that, G-O-P-O-T-T-Y, anytime I say it. So I just look at her, and I'm looking at her because that's my way of signaling I'm waiting for you to do something. Animals feel that intent and that attention. Not all of them recognize it, but they feel that intent when you're watching them. Do you need to go to the bathroom? Or what's going on? What are you doing? Noodle. Good girl. We'll start that lesson maybe tonight. But I want her to have a break. But I'd like to see if she can do one more. So I'm going to let her come off of me because I don't want to bait her into it. I want to see if she'll offer it. And this will probably be our last one because she's had a lot of cheese, and then I'm going to put her outside so she can go to the bathroom. You're okay. I'll give her one more jackpot if she does it on her own. Good girl! You're so smart. You're so smart. You're just a good dog. Yeah. Good girl. Yes, you are. Okay, last handful. And then we'll be all done. And that's another thing is I will teach my dogs what all done means. So all done means that I'm not training anymore. If they offer a behavior and I want to, I'll reward it. But otherwise, I'm not training anymore. I'm not asking for anything else. I'm not bugging them anymore. But obviously, this was our first session. She doesn't know what all done means. She doesn't know what G-O-P-T-T-Y means. She doesn't know what sit means. She doesn't know what any of that means. She doesn't even know what noodles means. She just happens to kind of recognize Noodle, and I think that's because she's starting to realize that might be her name. Good job!